俺の道が見える。
私と一緒に遊びたい？
戦とはただの殴り合いじゃない。新人よ、少しか。
来年よ、牙を向け。切る、切れ。
花よ、進化をお見せします。大きくなれ。
ターン殲滅の時間だ。さて、獲物は誰だ？痛みよ、我が身をまとえ。壊れる。危険を戦闘に不可欠。
任せてください。進化をお見せします。
ターン殲滅の時間だ。切る、切れ。遅い。危険も戦闘に不可欠。しい。俺の道が見える。
私と一緒に遊びたい？
さて、獲物は誰だ？慈悲など無用。壊れる。つっ。冷静さを失う。
圧力セットはお近くの滝湯谷で。デカ盛りマシマシ。
触りたい。
月城配置につきました。まずは水なり飲ませてくれぬか。
配置についた。攻撃決行。
無意味なあが
一杯のコーヒーが一日の活力を呼び覚ますのです。たまには一息つい
触りたい。ダメ。
あんたがサンプルになってくる。何やら有事であるの？月城、配置につきました。
コーヒーの苦味は幸福の甘さを引き立てます。またどうぞ。迷った時はコーヒーを飲みに来てください。
おお、ずいぶん早いな。ボンプ専用パーツのセットなんてどうだ？もう行くのか？また来いよ。
お前には黙秘権がある。
追撃します。
勇気と知恵はどっちもパワ
今
非常に平らな。ここは制圧下です。
配置についた。避けるんだ。
謹慎一年。
勇気と知恵はどっちもパワー。
牢屋で反省するんだな。
攻撃特攻。
無意味なあがきです。 人事なす。
皆そこで深淵を迎えよ。さようなら。立ちなさい、最悪の誓い。涙雨降りてあふれる。協調よ。またか。
そうよ一体人事なす。
落ち着いて、最悪の誓い。皆そこで深淵を迎えよ。さようなら。立ちなさい、涙雨降りてあふれる。
消化勝利。
落ち着いて。
そうよ一体人事なす。
協調よ。さようなら。立ちなさい、涙雨降りてあふれる。最悪の誓い。皆そこで深淵を迎えよ。引導を渡そう。
消化勝利。
落ち着いて。さようなら。涙雨降りてあふれる。立ちなさい、運命の線。出発の時間だ。全てが消える。
湘南に過ぎないわ。人事なす。
協調よ。皆そこで深淵を迎えよ。さようなら。涙雨降りてあふれる。落ち着いて、最悪の誓い。引導を渡そう。 涙雨ふっふっ来る手は触れる落ち着いて。
何が知りたいの？
あなた、それとも運命の全てが消える。痛くないわ。
占いましょう。
立ちなさい。
定められたキス。そうよ、一体。
出発の時間。落ち着いて。涙雨ヒュッ来る手は触れる。
ずいぶん走り回ったし、そろそろ。
剣女盤石。
どの目が出るかしら。かかれ。
みんながそばにいてくれるわ。
貫こう。さっとやっさっやっ
岩山八九。
痛がっちゃいないよ。せっはっ 終わりで撤収せいよっ
却下す
せいははせいはほっは急がなくてもいいのよと捕まえた
剣女盤石。
かかれ
難攻不落。
どの目が出るほっせいとほっよっ痛がっちゃいないんだとやっは
さ貫こうとさと権限
岩山八九。
いざよ工作せよ捕まえた
全力攻撃だ。燃えろ。
やっさ
どの目が出るかしらかかれと
剣女盤石。
やっと却下
難攻不落。
急がなくてもいいのよ終わりで撤収いた
みんながそばにいてくれるわやっせいさ権限とやっ
剣女盤石。
さはっやっとさ
岩山八九。 剣女盤石。はっふっはっや
かかれと
貫こ
ふっほっ痛がっちゃいないわ。
星と深無事今日の依頼を星と深 なたの運命はすでに我が支柱の糸が絡め取った。
Allá donde voy, hay sangre por todas partes.
La muerte está en flor.
Esto puede doler. ¿Alguien quiere morir? ¡Sal a jugar! Un poder inigualable.
No queda mecha, no queda mecha.
Seremos amigos para siempre.
¿Alguien quiere morir? Huyan, debiluchos. Allá donde voy, hay sangre por todas partes.
No queda mecha, no queda mecha.
There we go. Yeah, it'll take a while. Like, you're best off like doing something in the queues. Play another game in the queues. That was a weird swing. You after another one, Mew? This one's my chest. You stole that chest earlier. I'm stealing this. No, I guess I'm not. That Huntress does not want us opening chests, does she? That's twice now she stopped us. I didn't think she'd double back. I don't know why. I had a feeling she wouldn't. And one it is. Wait, are you out of hatchets? No, you're not. She answers that question for us. She's still there. I think I'll move on to the pallet. But then back onto the windows. Okay, we could maybe even move now, actually, with that protection hit. No, we got to stay now. Had my chance to move. Didn't move quick enough. Gonna hit us as well. Alright, everyone is getting killed off. Wait, we should probably... Where's Michaela? Oh, it's too late. She's all the way over there. I was gonna say, we should probably go help her, but we're taking chase now anyway. We're helping no one. This is death hook for us as well. Is she out of hatchets? I mean, I hope so, but I doubt it. Nah, she's not. Alright, good to know at least. Pulling up. I don't know how many she's got left. She'll pull up again, most likely. Yeah. I'm hoping that's it. Maybe. Take it. Yeah, that might be it. That might be all she's got. If so, we'll get out of that because she'll have to go reload now. Unless she wants to just try and get us... Okay, no, she does have one more. Well, at least one more anyway, if not more than that. Moving on to this. Where is she? Okay, there she is. I'm not playing that. I'm not going to connect it into the window. Against some killers I would, but Huntress isn't a good killer to do that against because obviously you can just throw the hatch at you. She's gaining ground now though. We're going to give her that. We're going to move. Get out of there. She might have already reloaded in that time because... Oh, I got stuck. We made that. We're fine. Wait, no. That was her last one. She would have pulled up there. She's out of hatchets. She definitely is out of hatchets. She wants us. She wants us bad. I'm not worried about them hatchets anyway. We can't really go to that gate because he's there. Yeah, feel free. Take a hit. I don't mind. She didn't take a hit. We still make the window though, I think. Especially with a fast. Yeah, he's there as well. Well, we did what we could. We bought a ton of time for our team. Unfortunately, though, only three's getting out. But we'll take that. Oh, there was a hatch right there as well. I just heard a hatch underneath where they got me. Unlucky. GG's, that was a fun one. You get that chest, and then there's one over there with my name on it as well. There might be a blight with my name on it, actually. Yeah, looks like it. Maybe you can get that other one if you want. Take this. Watch out, watch out. I didn't bother medium vaulting that because I thought he'd think we were going to take it. He didn't though. I know my game, my game. He's defending his chest, isn't he? Come on then, Blight. If he doesn't want us, we'll get the chest. That is the way to get a killer on you, by the way. Just like jump on a chest. They'll always manage to find you and push you off it. He's mind gaming that. She moved though. He thinks she's still there. Look at that. Look at the mind games. Stop that, Blight. Come on, you're doing way too much. She moved on ages ago. Did he leave? Yeah, he did. There we go. Bit of medic value. I haven't really used ours much this game, have we? Maybe we can put it to use now, though. Obviously, I don't know if he's halfway healed. It'd be great if he is, though. No, he's not. Unfortunately. There's nothing we can do. I mean, I saved him from the spirit, but I can't save him from both. We're fine. We're out there. He could have... Well, actually, we're not out. I was going to say, he could have went for a rush. I don't know why they didn't heal tech. Unlucky. Oh, wait. That works out. Get me. Me first. Just get the gate, get the gate, get the gate. They're not gonna come down here to this one. There's no reason for them to. Okay, I thought then as soon as I said that, Blight was heading over. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, there we go. So it didn't matter that we ended up going down there. There we go. GG's. These guys seem to like team up a lot, don't they? That's good in a way. You obviously get really quick downs if they want to do that a lot, but it's going to free up a lot of time for everyone else, obviously. Yeah, go on then, Alucard. Feel free. Oh, wait. I'm running into you as well, aren't I? What's up? Alright, we're lucky to get out of that one. Take it. He got unlucky there. He was leaving. That was uncalled for. Sorry, Wraith. Poor guy. No, we're not dropping that. Not yet, anyway. I mean, I might this time, though. Early swing. Now we get an extra loop. Light's over there. Take it, take it, take it. Have some light in your eyes as well. We want to go easy on this flashlight, though. With it only being a yellow one, we definitely don't want to go for too many blinds at pallets. Obviously, we're fine to do one. We'll leave it out of that, though, for now. We'll swing. We're not making window. We need another one. We're still not making window. Wait, the window's not even on this side. I thought it was on that side. It's on this side. We're fine. Anyway, there we go. We got out of that somehow. Like in 2v8 this go around. Yeah, I think it's more fun than it was last time. There's a bit more variety, isn't there? And you do have the killer classes now, so there's more variety in that sense. And even the there's a few other things that I knew as well. Like, yeah, the ability to pallet save and flashlight save. So yeah, I like it more this time around. More maps as well. Just a lot more variety. Come on then, Blight. Love that heart he's got on. Very cute. He's leaving though. Alright, he's back. I just heard Wraith cloak. Don't know where he is exactly though. I did want to move, but if we move to no man's land. There's Wraith as well. Yeah, nothing you can do there. Not 2v1. We're getting ambushed. 2 gens left though. Second hook. Yeah, come on, Kate. Let's finish this quick. Although there's a good chance we're getting pushed off it. Yeah, we are. Lucky Blight. He's out of the field. Then we'll just stay here. Wraith's over there. Leaving as well. We got 2 gens almost done. This one's done, and then that other one was as well. There we go. Alright, she's death hook. Nothing we can do there. Meg's not, though. But she might be at the gate anyway. One of the other gates. We've got hatches. We don't need it, though. We'll just go to this gate. Yeah, 1k there. 7 man out. GG's.
How about those lights?
It's the winter of 1985. A family living in a remote region of the Philippines receives a package at their door, which contained a single VHS tape and a note stating that the contents were for the children of the house. And so the kids were gathered up one by one and sat in front of the television where the tape began to play, introducing them to a brand new show called Life with Grandpa. This was the experience for hundreds of kids across the world, made to watch a seemingly harmless puppet show about a grandpa and his family, with most of the young viewers loving it, gladly watching this episode and the many others that would be sent later on, over and over again, blissfully unaware that what they were being shown would someday come to be known as one of the most disturbing rabbit holes in the history of children's media. This is the story of Life with Grandpa, the darkest kids show ever made.
Nothing can harm you when Jesus is near.
Dad, I don't want you to leave.
Can I persuade you to subscribe?
Before we dive any further down this rabbit hole, I want to first thank
fellowship dedicated to sharing.
She loved to play on the steep hillside.
Life with Grandpa, won't you come along?
This is Life with Grandpa, a straight-to-VHS show made for children created sometime in the mid-80s. The program followed a family of humanoid puppets on their journey to teach the audience lessons loosely based on Christianity through the use of stories, skits, and songs, acting as a guide for children to live their best possible lives for Jesus.
We're continuing with some more lessons about prayer. Are you all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lord. Such sweethearts.
The show was set up in an episodic fashion, never following any main overarching storyline, and instead, each installment would be composed of a series of shorter segments, recounting past experiences from this family, with an occasional musical number thrown in here and there.
We don't have a sad God. We have a happy God who wants us to be happy too.
Unsurprisingly, the main character of the crew was Grandpa, who acted as the show's host, often being the one to teach the episode's central messages not only to his on-screen family, but to all the kids watching at home.
But it's my kite.
Like wisdom.
But wouldn't you like to pray that some poor little boy who doesn't have so many toys and blessings as you do will find your kite?
Yes, Grandpa.
As he was made to be a wise, almost religious-like figure, whose words were never questioned. Often seen by his side was his wife, Mother Maria, though for as often as she's shown, she rarely has much to say.
Yes, thank the Lord for such a good, sweet boy.
Typically only chiming in when she's reiterating Grandpa's messages to the children. And of the children, there was Davida, Techi, and Davidito, with the latter being one of the show's central figures, landing right next to or potentially even ahead of Grandpa in terms of screen time, as Davidito often got his own segments and told his own stories directly to the audience.
Hello, children. Would you like to hear some exciting prayer adventures?
Yeah.
This first story happened when I was very small.
And though it's never outright stated, it's clear that Davidito was put on a pedestal, with the child often getting special treatment and being showered in gifts, as the family clearly seemed to favor him.
Thank you, Uncle Al.
It's called a kite.
We want to give you a little surprise because you were such a good witness.
This brand new tape recorder is for you.
Thank you, Jesus.
With there never being an explanation as to why. This is the core group of Life with Grandpa,
Guys,
with the only other reoccurring...
Witness, isn't it? I think this is a religious, so I think something they use that word, a witness, like a Jehovah Witness, no?
Characters being Aunt Sarah and Uncle Elf, a couple that was often shown around the house helping look after the kids. And despite this looking like something pulled straight from the depths of the Uncanny Valley, the content within the show didn't really seem all that troublesome.
Hold on.
In fact...
At the time, Chet, I'm just saying, during those times, there were not such a thing as Uncanny Valley, because this is the best that we had in terms of stuff on screen or whatever, right? So there was nothing to compare to that was off-putting or whatever. It was just entertainment.
It appeared fairly normal, and not too unlike the many other low-budget religious shows of the time, highlighting themes like obedience.
Nothing short of right is right.
Yes, so the right thing is...
to obey.
Sharing.
Good morning, Davida. I have a surprise for you.
Oh, can I see it?
I would like to share my cars with you. Which ones do you like?
And loving everyone.
That's really sweet of you, David. Thank you for that nice, generous present.
What present?
That nice kiss. A kiss makes a real beautiful gift or present.
Though mixed within these fairly standard teachings, you'll find other moments that are far more unusual.
Okay.
Don't run down that gravel hill.
Well, don't do that. Are you fucking stupid?
Oh, Davida.
She's bleeding, and her cut is all covered with dirt.
And I don't even have a tissue to wipe it with. I'll just have to lick it clean and spit out the dirt.
The show featured a lot of strange underlying themes that seemed to have nothing to do with religion, or at least not the conventional beliefs of Christianity, with one of the more obvious being its unprompted disdain for doctors.
We'll have to really pray that there won't be a scar.
Soon afterwards, there was no sign at all of the deep gash on Davida's forehead. Surely a doctor would have stitched it, but our God is still a God of miracles. Praise the Lord.
As well as its constant endorsement of spanking.
Jesus spanks us because he loves us and wants us to obey and be good.
We're really sorry. So if the Lord should spank you a little bit or correct you, it's for your own good. It's because he loves you and wants you to be good and obey.
And while these are certainly strange, by far the most glaring indication that Life with Grandpa wasn't just your typical kids show came from the program's stance on women, with the first major example coming from a song made for the young girls watching on.
So do the dishes and clean the floor, and God can show us something more. I'm ready for any job at all, whether it's great or whether it's small. I'm ready to go, ready to stay, ready my place to fill. Ready for service, lowly or great, ready to do God's will.
The message behind this song is clear. If you're a woman, then it's your job to cook, clean, and have babies. And that's about it, as this is God.
1995 is still pretty like conservative values overall, and with religion. I'm not doing anything. This is my analysis of it. 1995, still pretty conservative values overall, right? Like tradition and whatever. Especially when in more religious themes, we're getting out of that era. Still, 85. Oh yeah, even more.
I grew up to this.
God's will and your sole purpose for existing. And while this ideology was certainly not as controversial at the time, the show took it even further, as it hammered home this idea to all the children watching on by repeating one line at the end over and over again.
Okay, hold on. I've been thinking about this lately, chat. Guys, if to have a positive growth of population, right, women would have to need to have at least, on average, 3 children per woman, right? Because if it's 2, it's stable. If it's 3, it's growing, correct? Takes 2 people, 1 person, so it takes 2.1. So 3 for growth. Yeah, so more. Okay, so more than 2. More than 2 for growth, whatever. Do we agree with this or not? Okay, if you really think about it, if you were to space them out properly, right? In order to have 3 children raised properly, with an actual good childhood, education, a good life at home, a good welcoming, nice family for them to grow properly, right? It's literally a lifetime. It's a life dedication. If you think about it, if you were to have that positive 2.1 children per women, right? At least traditionally, right? You start what, 20, 23, 25, get 1, 2 or 3 years, another, and it's a lifetime. After that, like you're like 50. You're like 50 by the time they're all like grown up. Like it's hard to go back to work. So that was something that people pretty much did. And I don't think it's inherently a bad mentality entirely, because that's the traditional way of doing it.
Again.
Trust and obey, for there's no other way. Trust and obey, for there's no other way. Trust and obey, for there's no other way.
Making it clear that this was a lesson that the showrunners didn't want these kids to question. But as comically offensive as this song is, it was far from the worst that the show had to offer.
It's time for our lecture song.
He's a friendly scientist, a real good friend of ours.
In another episode, we're shown a musical number about Grandpa, who's portrayed as a scientist that's always busy working, though the song is really less about him and more about his love interest.
Get bent out of shape, 'cause he's in love with a robot. Watch her click and spin. Yeah.
A robot with long hair and nude female breasts. It's one of the most surreal things that I've ever seen on a kid's show, as this thing was clearly meant to be a portrayal of Grandpa's wife and women in general, likening them to robots. Though unlike the previous demeaning song, this number is blatantly perverted, as it not only shows the robot having breasts, but it also shows Grandpa fondling them as well. And these perversions weren't even exclusive to its imagery.
She gets excited.
It's shocking for so many reasons, but mainly due to the fact that this was on a show that was literally made for toddlers and young children, who are now being shown this clearly explicit content. And most disturbing of all is the realization that this sexualized material was actually nothing new to the world of Life with Grandpa. Predating the puppets, there was a little-known illustrated book series called Life of Grandpa, with the show practically being a shot-for-shot remake of this book series, featuring the same exact characters and stories. And much like the show, the series was also a religious guide created for children. In its pages, you'll find themes about morality and lessons made to guide you towards a proper way of living through this religion. But these books also had a very apparent dark side, one far worse than the show it inspired. In the chapter Real Fathers, we're shown a scene where Techi and Davidito question why they have two different skin colors, despite them being siblings, as Techi noticed that Davidito's skin appeared light brown, while hers was almost pure white, to which Grandpa then explains to them how his wife and their mother had slept with other men. See, God used Timothy and Carlos only to fuck Mama so that I could have you both. They were just like an instrument or tool that Jesus used to help create you wonderful little children for his kingdom. Praise the Lord. This was followed by an in-depth explanation of what that scene looked like, including images depicting the act. Examples like this are prevalent.
Whoa, 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 what the? A plow? What the fuck?
Examples like this are prevalent all throughout the pages of Life with Grandpa, with erotic material being shown constantly with no regard as to how inappropriate this is.
What? Hold on.
With Grandpa, with erotic
Why are you doing this for money?
material being shown constantly with no regard as to how inappropriate this is to be showing kids, which begs the obvious question: why? Why was Life with Grandpa so blatantly perverted? Well, the answer lies with the author of the books and the reason for the show's existence, David Berg.
He shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. That's when Jesus is going to come back, to rapture his saints, to gather them together.
Born in 1919, David grew up a devout believer in Christianity, but wanted something more from the religion. He dreamed of one day starting his own group with his own teachings, and in 1968, at the ripe age of 50, he decided it was time to do just that. The group began in Huntington Beach, California, and went by many names over the years, like Teens for Christ, the Children of God, the Family of Love, the Family International, or just the Family. But regardless of its name, there was no denying what this group was.
Okay, I don't be drama Andy and cause drama or whatever, but listen, with how people usually say that word, that was, I feel like there's a good chance that was done deliberately. Yeah, ripe? That is not how that
was a cult. A cult led by David Berg.
That went sideways
Berg
in the middle of the
would find
word,
young
sorry.
hippies and those struggling with drug addiction and mental health issues, and convince them to join his group by stating that the end of the world was coming soon, and that they needed to follow in his path and join his family to save their souls. It was pretty standard cult ideology, but at the time it was extremely effective, with the sect amassing a staggering 10,000 members at its peak. And at first, David got by with fairly standard teachings from the Bible, although this wouldn't last. After some time, Berg began addressing his followers via frequent illustrated messages called Mo letters that featured his ramblings and teachings from the time, with Berg slowly ingraining into his members that the contents of these letters should be taken as seriously, if not more so, than the Bible. In one of these letters sent out in 1972, Berg claimed that God was going to destroy the United States and that the group needed to flee the country immediately, with Berg demanding that his followers spread out all across the globe and open up communal homes where members could live as one, far away from the public eye.
What?
As a result, many members packed up their things and left right away, leading to roughly 130 communities being established across 70 different countries, essentially overnight. This mass migration had an extremely significant impact on the family, as it left practically the entire group outside of the United States, and more importantly, outside of the United States jurisdiction, meaning that Berg could now get away with far more than he used to. And unsurprisingly, this is where he began to tighten his control.
That's not because he has motion. It's just because because religion is like a core fundamental for a lot of people, like spirituality or whatever. It gives it a lot of more maneuverability. and able to do a wider range of motion with people, of course.
Full-time members were made to give up all of their earthly possessions to the group and cease all contact with their family and friends who were non-believers, cutting them off from the outside world completely. And these restrictions also applied to the media they consumed.
I decided I would limit how much I would watch the TV. Cause now I've got the answer. It's the slave, I'm the master. It no longer has a spell on me.
In his teachings, Berg denounced all forms of entertainment made outside of the cult, since he believed that this would poison the minds of his members and potentially sway them into leaving the group. And so, instead, he insisted that his followers only consume media that was produced directly by the family, with these works often being created by Berg himself or the other followers he enlisted, and then shipped directly to the members' homes, leading to hundreds if not thousands of videos, movies, and TV shows being produced and shared among the family. But for Berg, this wasn't just about providing entertainment. It was really all about controlling the minds of his group, and even more importantly, indoctrination, with his primary targets being children.
Well, I mean, yeah.
From birth, most kids were not shown any media other than what the cult gave their parents, with these works quite literally shaping their minds into following everything that the cult believed in without question. The main themes of these were usually things like always be happy,
more than 70 little muscles form a rowdy face,
but only 14 muscles put a smile in its place on your face.
always show love, and never, under any circumstances, question your parents.
Always best to do it 'cause daddy said so. Do it 'cause daddy said so. Do it 'cause daddy said so. Trust, obey, and do it 'cause daddy said so. Do it 'cause daddy said so. 'Cause daddy knows best.
And Life with Grandpa was no exception, as it too was created by the family in order to instill their beliefs into its child viewers, with the line trust and obey being hammered home time and time again, as those creating the programs didn't want their kids questioning any of the practices, and so they were teaching them to simply smile along and trust the adults. But because the group was the one producing
That's
and
insane.
distributing the content, they basically had no regulations placed on them, meaning that they could include whatever they want in these shows without any repercussions, leading to many of the showrunners exploring some of the group's more controversial beliefs, which becomes extremely troublesome when you realize that the family wasn't just your standard cult, and instead, it was a sex cult.
When you think of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, what are you thinking about? You think about a beautiful naked man and a beautiful naked woman. And what is the first thing that a beautiful naked man and a beautiful naked woman would, of course, naturally do as soon as they saw each other and nobody else around? I think just one look was all it took. And
David Berg was a deeply perverted man. The idea of sex consumed him and seeped its way into essentially all of his teachings.
I think Adam and Eve are over there behind those bushes right now, busy making, not pina colada, I think they're making some other kind of juices.
And once his followers were outside of the US, he began to preach something he called the law of love, which essentially said that the family should be showing all people love, and that love should come in the form of sex.
I practice what I preach, and I preach sex, boys and girls, hallelujah.
And so he told his followers to open up their relationships to outsiders, calling the practice sharing, as you were made to share your partner in the hopes of enticing new people to join the group. But he wasn't satisfied with just this, and instead he began to mandate that the women of the group participate in something he called flirty fishing. Also known as FF, flirty fishing describes the practice of women going into bars at night in order to pick up lonely men, who they would then entertain for the night.
Yeah, let's be honest. This guy did the first installment of this belief, whatever, so that he would get juice. And even with people indoctrinated in those thoughts, he still couldn't get pussy. So he had to turn up the knob on that knowledge, whatever, so he could finally get some juice. This
The goal of this was to convince these men to join the family,
most
though
desperate
more
men of all
realistically, the
time.
goal was also to make money, as they were made to charge for their services, with the women being told to seek lonely businessmen. And this is something that Berg not only pushed heavily, but outright mandated, insisting that every woman in the group do this or face being removed from the family, even those who were married. And Berg was so serious about this that he sent every colony report forms so that they could report how much flirty fishing was being done, in order to check their statistics and make sure that they were up to par. Understandably, many women of the group were concerned by this and wanted nothing to do with it. However, most of them had moved all the way across the world and sacrificed all of their belongings to be in this group, meaning that their removal would leave them with nothing. They were trapped. Simply put, Berg was forcing the women of the group into prostitution, and he was shameless about it too, calling them God's whores and Christ's hookers. The worst of all, Berg knew that flirty fishing could put these women in grave danger, as he admitted to them that violent assaults were going to happen, but he said that if you want to live, simply don't resist. And if you do get hurt or even killed, that's entirely your fault, as after all, it was God's will. And this was on top of a myriad of other horrific things that Berg said that I can't even repeat here. But the man saying all of these horrific things was the same man who wrote Life with Grandpa, and he used this medium to normalize his sex cult's beliefs for the children watching, which gives more context as to why women were portrayed in the way they were in these books and the show, as Life with Grandpa was breaking down the young girls watching and grooming them for a life of prostitution.
Guys, I wish this established a better timeline of when that show started airing and how far into the cult and beliefs he is, because of which media allowed this broadcast.
That they were made to accept without question.
Trust and obey, for there's no other
Maybe they didn't know?
Trust and obey.
Though the show wasn't only for preparing the kids for the perverse lifestyles they were headed for,
VHS.
and instead, they were already becoming well accustomed to it. Throughout his Mo letters, Berg also began to preach that children should be involved in these affairs and sharing as well, stating that he believed age should have nothing to do with it. In fact, he believed that children should be taught about this lifestyle essentially as soon as they're born. And although, again, I can't read his exact words on this, Berg had declared open season on pedophilia, and much like flirty fishing, it was mandatory. The abuse that followed is unimaginable, at a scale far too large to fully know to this day. Abuse that the parents of the children not only allowed, but often participated in, with one of the more notorious large-scale accounts coming from something that the group called the Love Video. This movie was a result of Berg sending out requests to all of the parents to send him lewd videos of their children dancing, which he not only took for himself, but packaged together into a long-form compilation video that was then distributed to all of the cult's members, encouraging the others to film similar content, with Berg going as far as creating a guide to help create the perfect video. And not only did many parents go along with this, but many clearly enjoyed it.
Keita shared with us the video that just came from World Services, and it was so inspiring. It was so beautiful. The love video.
And for this couple specifically, this wasn't the only order that they were happily following.
And it was really a blessing, too, for Joe and Hobo, because they had a good chance to share also with Sally.
Amen.
And so the Lord's really setting us freer and freer to obey and to be free. And
the Lord. Wait, what the fuck did the Lord do? None of that shit. It's the fucking weird ass fucking creeper Andy with the beard, motherfucker. There's no Lord in this shit.
And to show that sample of freedom and love to the world.
Life with Grandpa was literally created to indoctrinate kids into a pedophilic sex cult, and it makes you realize why exactly it and so many other of the cult's programs were hammering home this point of not questioning your parents or any adults, and to simply obey and smile.
So the right thing is
to obey.
Because the adults in their lives were now suddenly doing unimaginable things to them, and they were being groomed not to question it, making some of the show's segments horrendous in hindsight.
One very special way you can show the big people that you love them is by giving them lots of hugs, kisses, and cuddles. Oh, a child's love and affection really encourages and inspires the big people.
It was normalizing their abuse, and because of this, many children never questioned the horrible assaults that they endured, assaults that were all fueled and pushed by David Berg's sick perversions.
God created boys and girls able to have children by about the age of 12 years of age. My God, now he's going to advocate child and sex. Yes.
Which were far from theoretical, as Berg himself allegedly partook in this practice repeatedly with his own children and stepchildren, as incest was also a key point of his teachings, and his adult followers rarely dared to question this, as those who refused to partake in Berg's latest teachings were again at risk of removal from the group, which is even more devastating for those who had children, as much like all of their possessions, their kids were pledged and belonged to the family, And the kids themselves couldn't seek help either, as those that refused to trust and obey were sent away to actual prison camps owned by the cult until they were basically reprogrammed.
They made camps. I was sent with my brother to the Philippines. We had armed guards from the Filipino military keeping us in. They would publicly beat you if you asked to leave, then try to break you and get you to confess.
And the group continuously got away with this too, thanks in large part to Berg's orchestration of the group leaving the United States, which looking back was almost certainly done on purpose. Plus, many members were actually living in hiding. In fact, all of the members were made to change their names upon joining the group, and most were told to never give out their last names, meaning that if any child wanted to report that had happened to them, they would be unable to provide even the names of their abusers. And this included Berg too, who at this point lived most of his life in hiding, going by numerous aliases to avoid detection, aliases like King, Moses, Mo, Dad, and eventually, Grandpa.
What the fuck? We're not even halfway. We're like halfway through this video. How is there more to this? This guy's
the entire show was about him, David Berg, which is why he was shown as a wise, unquestioned religious-like figure who the children were made to look up to. And that wasn't all, as the characters shown alongside Berg were also members of his real-life family that lived with him in a remote commune. Mother Maria was the nickname of Karen Zerby, David's wife who helped him run the cult and facilitate this era of hypersexualization, while Aunt Sarah was based on Sarah Kelly, the woman in charge of running the prison camp made to punish the kids who dared question the family's beliefs.
Sarah Kelly, who was responsible for me being held against my will in the Philippines.
But the most grotesque detail to come from the revelation of who these characters are was that it showcased David Berg's polygamy, as he was actually married to many people in the real world, and two characters on the show itself. Mother Maria, and Davida, his then 5-year-old stepdaughter. Davida would eventually go on to tell her story, stating that she had been Berg's child bride.
And there was a ceremony with the ring and everything, and once I turned 5 years old was when I was implicated into being one of his queens, so to speak.
Along with allegations that she had been victimized by him countless times. And she wasn't the only victim of Berg's perversions. Techi was often sexualized by Berg publicly, with Berg having stories made and illustrated depicting his fantasies about her when she was just a child. On top of this, numerous people within the group also claimed that she had been outright assaulted by the hands of Berg, as well as many others in the group.
And look at our pretty girls today. You're dressed in such nice dresses and your hair looks so nice. Yes, you look so pretty for all the children that are watching today.
The context of who these characters are makes this already disturbing show that much more sickening. But of all of the horrible stories to come from the real-life characters of Life with Grandpa, there's one that is far and away the most horrific. The story of Davidito.
David is such a handsome boy, isn't he, girls? Would you like for David to share some more lessons?
Yes, Grandpa.
Are you all ready? Okay, David, you have the floor.
Oh, hold
His
on.
real name was Ricky Rodriguez, and as a baby, he was taken in as Berg's son following Maria conceiving him with a man after a night of flirty fishing. And being David's first son, he was given the nickname Davidito.
I want to make a prediction, and I feel like I'm going to be right, but if I feel
As for David Berg, he viewed this child as essentially a messiah. He began telling his followers that Davidito would one day save them from the apocalypse, causing Davidito to become a celebrity within the group, and worshipped as a religious figure when he was just a baby. Which explains why he was given so much airtime during Life with Grandpa, and why he was constantly being showered with gifts.
We want to give you a little surprise because you were such a good witness.
And for David and Karen, they wanted Davidito's life and childhood to be a guide for all members of the group, as they raised him in what they believed to be the perfect manner for a godly household. And so the couple and several other contributors documented the way he was raised, with daily journal entries that were published as weekly newsletters, and eventually turned into one massive book titled The Story of Davidito. And the family truly believed that this over 700-page book was the ultimate guide for parenting and showed the only proper way to raise a child, though what it actually showed was just how badly Davidito was being abused. Davidito is described laying next to his nude nannies, witnessing orgies involving his own mother, and being touched sexually by the adults around him, with these examples being presented through not only written stories, but actual photographs, with the adults involved having their faces removed and drawings placed over the top of them in order to hide their identities. The book was not only promoting acts with children, but it was outright showing it, and showing it happen to Davidito. And because of this, we have a daily journal entry of all the abuse that this child suffered, starting when he was an infant. Despite all the heinous acts that had been going on within the family, they had up until this point gone virtually unchecked by the public eye. But the story of Davidito would prove to be the first domino to fall, as the book leaked to the press.
Tonight, the cult Children of God, founded by Moses David Berg, he reportedly sanctioned sex among children.
This immediately became a news story all across the world, and it began shining a light on the family and its twisted beliefs. But despite all the constant news coverage, and the story of Davidito being tangible proof of the cult's horrible practices, there was still essentially nothing done to stop them, as very few arrests were ever made as a result, and even fewer resulted in convictions. So nothing was ever done to help Davidito. And so during his entire childhood and his early adult years, he stayed with the group. Though the older he got, the more he began to see the family for what they really were, and the constant pain that he was experiencing eventually made him want to just run away from it all. And so, in 1999, that's exactly what he did, fleeing to the United States in the hopes of starting a new life. Though this was easier said than done, and no amount of distance was enough to keep him away from his tortured past. At one point during his time in the United States, Ricky actually opened up about the struggles he was experiencing on a website made for survivors of the family. And there, he documented just how bad things really were for him and several others behind the scenes, living with Berg, appropriately titling the post, Life with Grandpa. It was apparent that he was haunted by this life that he tried to escape, as the trauma was an everyday cycle of hell, and he just couldn't take it anymore.
Do you know that sometimes the Lord likes to test our faith, to teach us patience, and to really make us pray? This is just what happened to me once.
Well, hey everyone. I want people to know that even though some of the things that I'm going to try to do are rather shocking and maybe not right in a lot of people's books, I want to explain some of the reasons behind them.
On January 7th, 2005, Ricky Rodriguez set up a video camera in his apartment and expressed his desire to kill his mother and other leaders of the group for all the dreadful things that they had done not only to him, but to all the other children, with his hope being that this would finally bring down the family once and for all.
My goal is to get those sick bucks, Ma and Peter, and, then I can go to the next life knowing that, that I made a difference.
With Ricky going as far as to show off the various ways that he planned on torturing them.
I'm gonna have to make do. I got my drill here. Got lots of fucking duct tape.
God knows, He hears, He cares. He loves His girls and boys. He gives His very best to those who let Him choose the toys.
By this point, David Berg had been dead for years, though the family carried on with his mother, Karen Zerby, assuming full control, which explains why she was the primary target. And much like Berg, Karen spent most of her life in hiding, with Ricky being unable to track her down, though he was able to find Angela Smith, one of the nannies responsible for raising him, as well as one of his most prominent abusers, as she was even shown in the story of Davidito assaulting him. At this point, Ricky was exhausted, and Angela was his last shot at getting intel to help him find his mother and finally carry through on his plans. And so, he invited her over for dinner, under the guise of rejoining the group.
I went home that night and tried to wait patiently for the next day. But the Lord still had more lessons that He wanted to teach me. This is what happened.
Before Ricky could even get the information he was looking for, something in him snapped, and midway through their conversation, Ricky grabbed a knife and stabbed Karen in the arm, and then slit her throat. He fled the area that night, driving for hours until he reached California, the place that years before David Berg had started the family. There, he called his ex-wife, professing to everything he did, saying that he did it mainly for his sister Techi, but he felt no better. In fact, he felt worse. And even looking back at the video, it's very obvious that this was something that Ricky didn't truly want to do, and instead he felt like he had to do it, to avenge everyone that the family had hurt.
But I'm not trained. I don't know how to fucking do this. I don't even want to fucking do this. God damn it.
And it was too late to take back what he did, and so he stopped the car in a dark parking lot, sat there for a moment thinking about everything that had happened during his painful life.
Chad, this is really tough because this is a thing where, like, everybody is brainwashed. Like, everybody that was part of this, intentional or not, everybody's like has a new set of beliefs and whatever. It's all cooked up.
And ended his suffering once and for all.
I mean, in a way, that's what these fuckers have done to us. They didn't actually, grab a knife and cut us up, but man, they sure fucked up our brains. That's the way it was at Grandpa and Mama's house. Literally or figuratively. They're going down. So, with that happy thought, I shall leave you.
Ricky Rodriguez's death was devastating for the community of survivors of the family, and it caused shockwaves all throughout the family itself, as his final video was plastered all over the news. And though it didn't happen in the way he expected it or wanted it to, Ricky's life and death undoubtedly contributed to the decline of the family, and helped diminish the cycle of abuse within the group. Starting from the story of Davidito, the public pressure forced Berg to outlaw the widespread abuse that he once preached. And though it is believed that it never really came to an end, it was at the very least significantly reduced. And by the time the news began to cover Ricky's death, it proved to be the final wake-up call for many still within the group, as they finally began to see through the facade that had once controlled their lives.
Like Grandpa says, prayer is powerful. When we pray, things will happen and things will be different.
It's difficult to watch any of Life with Grandpa, knowing its history, its purpose, and the real people that it was inspired by. Though as soon as the media began taking notice of the cult, many members were made to purge the media that was sent to them that may be considered incriminating. And as a result, it appears that most of Life with Grandpa is missing to this day, and potentially destroyed forever. Currently, only 4 episodes have been recovered, and it's not even known how many more were released, or even what year the show started or ended. But considering how closely the show mirrored the book, it's possible that these potentially missing and destroyed episodes are much worse than the ones we have today. But despite not knowing the full extent of the show, it's clear that Life with Grandpa and the countless other programs that the family made did exactly what they wanted them to. They brainwashed an entire generation of the cult's children, and the effects were devastating.
But they become extremely agitated when we ask them about Moses David Berg's teachings on sex.
My Little Fish. Now, your father described that as a routine publication.
They're not having sex, they're just kissing and hugging in bed. That's not sex. If you show it to other people, they don't understand. That stuff's not supposed to be publicized. So many people think sex is wrong. So many people hate us. But we just telling them the truth. We're just telling them it's not wrong. We're just telling them that there's nothing wrong with it. And here come these publicizers doing them to everybody.
Between the strange content from the program itself, its obvious attempts at indoctrinating kids into a cult that was only ever going to harm them, the real-life people behind the characters, and the fact that this propaganda was so effective, I have no doubt that Life with Grandpa is the darkest children's show that I've ever come across.
Like widespread brainworms.
Though, shockingly, there's somehow one more layer to the story that makes this program even more disturbing.
And now, here's the exciting ending to this story.
One thing that we haven't discussed yet is who was actually the one behind the creation of the show. There's no doubt that it's David Berg's stories and was probably done at his request, but who was the one actually making it? Well, unfortunately, most of the people who worked on the show have their identities hidden by only using their first names, or even using straight-up aliases, so I could hardly find any information on any of them, with the exception of one: Peter Puppet. Peter Puppet was sort of a celebrity within the group, being responsible for numerous puppet shows, including one called The Lovettes, which was actually far more popular than Life with Grandpa, and was even supposedly broadcast on TV in the Philippines, with the show being a disturbing rabbit hole in its own right.
Would you like to hear a story? Well then, let's go see Grandpa in the garden.
What's wrong with this guy's face?
Hello, children. So nice of you.
Is this like a fucking war veteran? Like, what the fuck is... Like, why is that all cooked up? Why is it with all the scars and shit? What the fuck is... What is happening?
So
a burn
nice
victim.
of you to visit us in the garden today.
But Peter Puppet owned this group, and was in charge of the Lovettes team, and coincidentally, the Lovettes just so happened to be credited as the producers of Life with Grandpa. So Peter Puppet was, at the very least, one of the contributing creators of the show. And he also seems to be the one in charge of performing the actual musical numbers on the show, as they featured puppets that belonged to Peter and the Lovettes team, with these segments interestingly being credited to an unknown man named Peter Pioneer.
We have a beautiful song from Peter Pioneer.
It's not a concrete link, but it's clear that Peter Puppet had a role in the show's creation, and helped push the family's disturbed ideology onto hundreds of kids across the globe. But during the creation of Life with Grandpa, it seems his own beliefs were being tested. In the beginning of the video, we saw an example of the family's view on doctors.
Surely a doctor would have stitched it, but our God is still a God of miracles. Praise the Lord.
This sentiment was really common in the family, as Berg outright forbade any medicine or surgeries of any kind, instead preaching that miracles from God were the only way to heal. And because of this, many members of the family with chronic ailments or fatal illnesses were basically left to die, and one of those left suffering was Peter Puppet. His life is almost entirely a mystery, as he lived in hiding in one of the family's compounds, but according to some of the group's members, one day he noticed something in his neck, a small lump, and over the next few weeks and months it began to slowly get bigger and bigger, to the point that Peter had to go visit a doctor in order to see what was wrong. And it was there he learned that inside of him was an aggressive tumor that was only going to get larger. The good news was the tumor was actually operable and could be removed with little risk to his life, but the bad news was surgeries were against the family's beliefs, and so he turned it down, instead opting to go back to the compound to pray the tumor away with the other members. This, however, never happened. Instead, the mass began to grow at an even faster rate, to the point that those around him could notice it, eventually leading to Peter hiding away in his room away from the others, not wanting to be seen. However, at some point during his struggle, a photograph was taken showing the entire compound he was living with. And in the background, we see Peter, whose neck is impossibly large. From here, it said that Peter began to beg the family to take him to get this surgery, as the tumor was quite literally suffocating him slowly, turning him against the very beliefs that he once forced upon so many children over the years. But the family forbade it, insisting that he wait for a miracle that was never going to come.
Yeah, for those earlier chat that was saying like, yeah, brainwash doesn't justify this or whatever, bro, it's insane the power of brainwashing, because this guy literally his concept of self-preservation and his all the pain of self-exclusion and not going to groups because you look a certain way, whatever. All these things are extremely painful, whatever. And to go against all that because of the beliefs or whatever. That's insane.
Nowhere
That's the
else to
power that it has. It's crazy.
Peter Puppet supposedly ended his own life shortly after this photograph was taken, adding the final pillar of context to Life with Grandpa, a program that can only be described as the darkest children's show ever created.
We've got to go now. Let's wave bye.
Bro, that tumor is insane.
God bless you. Come on, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Sadly I wander for many a year, driven by hunger and filled with fear. I must arise and go.
That was a well-documented video. I think that there's a good story building and gathering of information.
To trace, seeking my heavenly Father's face, willing to take but a servant's place. I should arise and go back to my father and home, back to my father and home. I should arise and go back to my father and home. Why should I perish in dark despair, here where there's no one to help nor care? When there is shelter and food to spare, I will arise and go, deeply repenting.
Still a limitation.
Wrongs I've known, worthy no more to be called his son.
I'm confused why there still is a statute of limitations on some of these crimes.
I must arise and go. Sweet are those memories that come to me, faces of loved ones again.
Different countries. Well, in the U.S., I think only a few states, right? I think there still is.
Why are so many
limitations.
cults started in California?
Who knows? I mean, what was that? The 80s, probably 70s, whatever. Probably a lot of spiritually questionable out-branching from certain drug uses or whatever, hippies. Yeah, that's what I would assume. Because it kind of psychedelics that are that strong, especially at the time in a
Can
high
I get
density.
a welcome to the jungle?
Kinda
I will do everything you
opens
want
your
me
mind,
to do.
opens doors that that don't exist normally. You feel that? Check, guys, I have this nail. I'm fucking idiot. I don't give a shit.
Hello X, thanks for the EU stream today. Bat chest, bat chest, bat chest.
Holy!
I yumped.
Holy! The size of this one. Trying to play some Mario Kart.
joven alcanzará su destino. Aborrezco tu falta de estrategia. Presta atención.
Ya es casi la hora. Voy de camino.
Creí que nunca me lo preguntarías. Esto va a estar movidito. Tu Hextech no te salvará.
Lo haremos a mi manera.
Muere por mí.
¡Acelera!
Solo los cobardes corren.